The granny squares that we're going to be using for the project at the various locations around Massachusetts are a relatively straightforward granny square, very simple to execute, using 2 stitches. We're using a chain stitch and we're using a double crochet. So to start, I recommend that you either start by knotting the center or making a slip knot, whichever you prefer. I personally tend to make a knot only because mine usually get passed around a classroom more than once, and sometimes the slip knot comes undone. So the way we start is we have a chain of 5, joined in the round with a slip stitch, which is frequently one of those things that people overthink. That's all there is to a slip stitch. And then we want to chain 3. Now this will count as a double crochet. Now watch what we do with that tail. As we work the first set of shells, that tail just kind of comes along for the ride. The corner is a chain 3. So the shells themselves are a triad of double crochets. The corners are a chain 3. So that tail is being incorporated in around the ring as I work the round. You don't have to do that if you don't want to, but that's the way I like to do it so that I have less weaving to do later, now that I've been working on my double crochets. So this last triad of double crochets needs to be joined to the first we have 3 chains, and into the top of the chain 3 that we started the round from, we work a slip stitch. Now if I want to, I can use the remaining the remaining tail from the chain to pull this a little bit tighter, or I can leave it as a decorative element and it can just be there. We'll worry about that later. With this one, just by way of comparative analysis, I just left it in there and I can just clip it right there, or if I want to, I can sew inside of here with the tapestry needle, pick up around the inside and pull it to make that hole go away. The second round, we have a chain 3. Again, that counts as a double crochet. We're going to continue making our triads. Now what happens here is, if we look, here's the first chain 3, and here are the 2 doubles next to it. Here's my chain 3 coming out of my slip knot for the second round. When I go in here to start my round, I am putting my hook into the chain 3 space that I had just finished. So it's actually an optical illusion. The chain 3 is coming right out of the top of the stitch that was the slip stitch where we joined. And then I do my 2 doubles right next to it, between it and the chain 3 of the round below. So if we look a little closer, here's my chain 3 for round 2, here's my chain 3 from round 1, and my 2 doubles. Now we chain 1. The reason we are adding an extra chain here is because we want to make sure that this is a very flexible, easy to manipulate square, because we're going to use it for our yarn bombing, and we never know what we have to wrap it around. If I were making a granny square blanket for a person, I would most likely not use the chain ones between each of my triads, but I'm going to incorporate them into this one. So our pattern is chain 3, double crochet, chain 1, double, double, double into the chain 3 space, chain 3, and then back into the chain 3 space. We put 3 more. There's 2. There's 3 double crochets. So this is our middle. Here's a corner of round 1. Here's a corner of round 2. Let me move this over a little bit so you can see a little better. Here's a corner, there's the center. This one is a corner we've only done half of. This was our chain 3 double double. So now we continue down the side. We have a chain 1, and we go into the chain 3 space in the next corner. Granny squares are worked in the round. Granny squares are typically a pattern that repeats itself multiple times, and they are typically symmetrical, although they need not be. There are ways that you can make a granny square that is not symmetrical. We are making ours as equilateral squares because of the way we want to be able to connect them for our project. So now we have our next corner completed. Here's our chain 3, 3 double crochets, 3 double crochets into that chain 3 space that was formed below. Chain 1, go into the next corner. We work our 3 doubles. Our chain 3, now we have 1 corner done, a 2nd corner done, a 3rd corner done. This is the one we started. See how this one only has our chain 3 and our 2 doubles? Well, we're going to go over there, chain 1, we're going to put in the 3 more double crochets, chain 3, and as before in round 1, we're going to go into the top of our chain 3 that we used to start the round, yarn over, pull through, and we have a slip knot. So it's starting to look more like a square. You can see the center. These are my corners, and this is my next set of corners. My next round, I have to come up, so 3, 1, 2, 3, and as for below, I'm going to make my double crochet into the chain 3 space that I just made at the end of the previous round. And I'm going to do 2 of them because, as we mentioned earlier, the chain 3 counts as a double crochet, and we're making triads of double crochets all the way around. Get a little more yarn. Now we chain one, because after we finish a triad we do a chain one, and now we have this chain one space from the previous round. We're going to do another double crochet here, triad. So we are doing this set of 3 double crochets into the chain one space that was formed by the chain that we put between the 2 triads or shells that appeared on the round below. Now we do another chain one, and now I'm back in the corner again where I have a chain 3. So I'm going to make another corner above that. 1, 2, 3. So now I have another corner done. This corner, here's the center, here's the corner from round 1, here's the corner from round 2, corner from round 3. And we're going to keep going in this fashion all the way around. So now I chain 1, and now I go here, 1, 2, 3, chain 1. I'm back at the corner again. So this triad was worked into the chain 1 space. This one is going to go into the corner, but because it's a corner is 3 double crochets, chain 3, and 3 more double crochets, all into the chain 3 space. So now we have another corner. We have a corner here and a corner here. We still have our incomplete corner over here. We chain 1, go into the chain 1 space from the round below, where we're going to put three double crochets into the chain 1 space. We go over to the corner. Corner is a chain 3. So in the chain 3, we are putting 3 double crochets, three chains, 3 more double crochets. Now we're going to work down the side. So this is chain 1, chain 1 at the end. Now I'm back. Here's where I started my round. So I go back to that chain 3 space. 1, 2, and 3. I do my chain 3, and I join it again to the top of the turning chain, which was that chain 3 from the beginning. I just use a slip stitch, and there it goes. Now I do chain 3 to get myself up to round 4. And when I start it, I put my hook right back in that chain 3 space I just made down below. I do 2 more. Then I do chain 1 and 3 double crochets into the chain 1 space. chain 1. I'm back at another chain 3 space, so that's another corner. Not there. That's my fault. Normally I would take that knot out, but in the interest of time and getting this square done so that you can see how the pattern starts to work, I'm not going to stop. So there's my corner. It has 3 double crochets, the chain 3 and 3 double crochets. Finish my 3rd double crochet, I do a chain 1, go into the next chain 1 space. So if you would like to be a part of our yarn bombings, please get in touch with me on my website, and I will be sharing information about where you can send squares to if you're not local. And you can also keep abreast of all the other different activities that we have going on around the Commonwealth this year, thanks to grants from the Mass Cultural Council. So here I am back in another corner, chain 1, and now I do my 1, 2, and 3. Make my corner chain 3, same chain 3 spot, and I do my 3 double crochets. The pattern is available on my website. You can just look at the section where you can buy patterns, and it's in there. There's no charge for it. You just have to download it from my webpage. So every time we come to a chain 1 space, we're putting in a new shell. After we finish a shell, we make another chain 1 space. Go to the next chain 1 space from the round below. Now we're back at a corner, which is 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3 chains, and now 3 more doubles. Chain. Chain. Again, doing a triad into a chain 1 space. So notice on each subsequent size, my square is getting bigger as I add one more set of 3 double crochets, which makes 1 little shell. So in the middle, I have 1 on each side. On the second round, I have 2 on each side. On the third, I have 3 on each side, and on the fourth, I will have 4 sets of shells on each side, and in each corner, I will have 3 double crochets. I will always have, 3 double crochets, 3 chains, and then 3 more double crochets. So what's our total? We have 3 chains in each corner, and on each side we have a set of shells, which are double crochets, and we know which round we're on because if you count from your corner, 1 shell, 2 shell, 3 shells, 4, I know that there are 4 shells on that side, so this is my 4th round. On this one, I see 1, 2, 3 shells between my corners, so I know that I ended this one on the 3rd round. Now, what you can do for our Yarning Around Massachusetts and Yarn Across the Commonwealth projects is you can make these squares as big as you want. I'd like them to be at least 6 by 6 and no more than 24 by 24 each. If you want, you could join them to each other. So you could do as many squares as you want and make as large of a piece as you want. We do need for the pieces to be made out of a yarn that can withstand some weather, because all of these installations are going to be done outside. So while I am using a superwash wool, for the actual yarn bonding, you should really use acrylic, so that when the pieces are out in the weather, they don't discolor. So if you wanted to, you could even do something fancy, like you could stack your squares and use a little stitch around the edge. Or you could take a bunch of them and put them on a crochet chain. Make a little garland. And we can hang those in the trees. Really, this project is about whatever makes you happy. Whatever shapes you like to make that can be put together with other shapes that other people have made to make a whole yarn community. Thank you for watching, and if you wouldn't mind, why don't you click to subscribe and follow me on Instagram. I'll put some links below for you so you can get to those things more readily. Thanks for watching.